For this week's LESSology challenge, we were to make something to hang on the wall. And I got this board at St. Vinny's for $1.50. I am going to use this stamp set from Tradefish. They're our sponsor this week. They have a lot of great stamps. I have the board all painted white, all the pieces painted white. Now what I'm doing is this is a piece of blue paper from Close to My Heart, and I'm making a background. And I'm doing it in sections because it's kind of a big piece of paper. So I'm just stamping the Versamark on here. And as I get across, then I'll put the embossing powder on it. Because I only want to I did one sheet, and I did the whole sheet, and it was just a little hard to emboss it, you know, the heating part. So when I went to rub it, I realized when I rubbed it that I had a lot of it that I didn't heat, so I figured it would be better if I did it in sections. Some embossing powder on it, and this is just a white embossing powder. I just think it makes such a pretty background. It's not my favorite technique to do because it's so messy, but that's okay. I love the effect that it has. So now I'm just going to heat that part up, and then I'll do the next section. So I'm just going to do this a section at a time. I think the important part when you're embossing is to use one of these static-free pads. I just love the way the little stars pop right up. Now it's all nice and set. Okay, so I'm going to take the Mod Podge and put the paper on the wooden parts. So I just poured a little bit in a pan, and I'm going to put some on the back of the paper, and then I'm going to put it on the wood. And I'm finding that if I don't put it on the paper and the wood, that it just doesn't lay flat. And this was a little wet, so I'm not even sure if this is going to work. I thought it would be fun to do some, make some little charms to hang on this. So I'm using some StazOn Jet Black, and I'm using some of the little elements from the stamp set, and I'm going to give that a try. Just going to stamp those on the StazOn. I like to use the StazOn cleaner, and so now I'm just going to do a couple more of these little spaceship here, and the spaceship, and I think I'll do the sun. And then I'll color them and cut them out. I'll just show you how this works. It goes from this size. Oh, it's going to be hard to do. I get my fingers in there. Okay. How sweet. I just love this. See how little it is? So what I did is, after I colored them, I cut them out and I punched a hole in them. So I'm just putting this little clip in the hole to hold it. These craft mats are great. So there, I have 3 of them done, and I have 2 more to do. Then I just take the little charms and take a little jump ring and slide it through it, and use a pair of tweezers and just tighten it up a little bit. Oops, first I want to put it on the chain. Then I'm just putting them on this little swivel clasp. This is from Tim Holtz. And I'm just putting all these little charms on that, and I'm going to hang this on the little board somewhere. So I think they're really cute because you can kind of see through them. They're just fun. Now what I've done is taken some old notebook papers. I have a lot of these, you know, tablets around that were partially used. So what I'm doing is taking all those out and recycling those by cutting them down, and I cut this down to fit on the board. I put the little knob back on up here with the moon stamp on it. Now what I'm doing is taking some Night of Navy ink, and I'm just inking around the edges because I don't know, that stark white just isn't something that I like. So I'm going to ink that up, and then what I'm going to do is take different stamps from the stamp set. Like there I had the little spaceship, and then I'm going to take a little rocket ship, turn a couple of pages. And what I did is I just took a chunk of page and turned them, so you know I can just stamp the bottom of that. It's just kind of fun because then you get to use all your stamps and in the stamp set, and you're just decorating the pages up a little bit. I'm going to use some of the little sentiments. Like this one says, "You are my sunshine, you are out of this world, you are a blast, you lift up my life." And this one says, "I love you to the moon and back." Now I've stamped all the paper. I've put one of the little stamps on the bottom, one on the side or in one of the sides, and then at the top of each one I stamped one of the sentiments from the set. So they're all kind of different. And I have this heavy-duty stapler that I bought years ago when I was making little booklets for my first graders in school. The part about this little project is it cost $1.50, I think it was, for the board. The paper was something that I had because it was left over. The paper I used, the blue paper, was some from Close to My Heart that has been sitting in one of my drawers for quite a while, and it needed to get used. So I won the stand set from Trade Fish Designs, which was really exciting, so that's why I wanted to use it. But it's really, really a good quality stamp. They stamp really nicely. I really wanted to use a whole set of stamps, and so I did that. So basically, the money that I put out for this project was probably $1.50 for the board, because everything else I had, and granted I did have to pay for that at one time, but it needed to get used too. So alright, so I just put the paper back in there, and then anytime I'm out of paper I can just put more in, which will make it very useful. This board has a little place that you can hang it up with a nail, so I'm not going to go all the way through with it, but I am going to do a little bit more decorating. Okay, so here's my finished project. All I did for the top was I just added some of this wire with stars on it to make it kind of glittery, and I put the charm that I made with all the images from the stamp set over here, and then this side up at the top I added a piece of ribbon and a pencil. Just covered the pencil with some of the same paper that I used. It was really a lot of fun, especially using all the stamps in the stamp set. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I sure hope you'll join us over at LESSology this week for our challenge to create something for your wall. Thanks for stopping. Bye-bye.